Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, Suleja traders blame crippling businesses on thugs and task force activities. 8 killed as gunmen attack Benue banks. Container crushes woman to death in Anambra. And away from Nigeria, UN chief visits Rafah border crossing, calls for aid deliveries to begin. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for joining. Our Suleja town in Niger State is home to several businesses with traders visiting the area on a daily basis for their wholesale or retail transactions. The visitors cut across the Federal Capital Territory and other neighboring states like Kogi, Nasarawa and Kaduna, in addition to other parts of Niger State. Trust TV visited the Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida market in Suleja as well as other adjoining business locations where traders lamented how activities of thugs and task force officials are affecting them negatively. The report.
The traders said many of their customers were no longer interested in visiting the market due to the harassment of the thugs. They either work with the council or operating illegally, as well as task force officials that operate within the area. There are also allegations against officials of the Niger State Transport Management Agency who are accused of extorting motorists or impounding vehicles of those that fail to comply with their demands.
Firstly, we have issue of importation of goods to Suleja markets due to the tax force and whatsoever called revenue. If you look at it, when we go to Lagos, we go to Aba on a char, where we buy our bag kind of market. We want a driver to take it to the Suleja. They will say no, they are not taking it to Suleja. Rather, they will take it to Zuba or Kaduna Road simply because of tax force. And anyone you are lucky to get it that is coming to Suleja, he will start charging you at high rates that you cannot afford to pay, simply because of tax force and whatsoever revenue.
If you check the line now, you can see from here to here, nobody. Those people will block the road, manipulation everywhere, collecting people money. If you buy only one single bucket and put inside your boot, they will follow you up, use their Okada, follow you up. If they catch the motor, they will hold the person, talking of 30,000, 20,000. And immediately the person pay that money, he will never come back again.
The problem we are having with them, mostly, we in the Babangida market, what we are facing from them is that even though that you go and bring your own load, coming back to Suleja, it will be problem. You will pay. You pay these people, you pay the other people, you pay the other one. They are disturbing us, not small. And because of this, many people were not coming to Suleja to buy goods again. All the people coming from Abuja before, all of them run away. Because of that, they are now going to Kubwa and other places.
Meanwhile, efforts to get the response of the chairman of Suleja Council, Isha Kubawa, were not successful after several attempts. Also, the Director General of NITMA, Muhammad Awal Datijo, an agency accused of assaulting motorists, had declined to speak when contacted about the issue.
Now, as part of efforts geared towards addressing the rising insecurity in Zamfara State, thousands of residents on Thursday held a special prayer session seeking God's intervention against the menace. The residents converged on the central Eid prayer ground in Gusau for the prayer session. The report.
The prayer section was aimed at seeking divine intervention against banditry in the state.
The prayer is organized to seek for divine intervention regarding security challenges affecting our dear state. We, the leaders of the state, resorting to prayers to halt the insecurity situation. We, the people of Dansado, have not been sleeping with our 2 eyes closed, courtesy of persistent attacks by the bandits. It has gone to the extent that whenever the sun is set, the one is sure of reaching the next day safely. Our situation becomes worse because we share borders with Kaduna and Niger states, and there is thick forest around us, which the bandits are taking cover inside. I believe this is the main reason why bandit activities become more pronounced in my area.
Organizers of the prayer said similar prayer sections will be conducted in all the 24 local government areas of the state until banditry is over in the state.
We decided to partner with other non-governmental organizations across the state with a view to organize a peaceful prayer session, because the dwindling insecurity that bedevils the peoples of Zamfara state is in high alarming rate. We consider it as a will of God, but we think with prayers all things are possible. We decided to organize this prayer section, first of its kind, because the people of Zamfara state are living in fear. No place in Zamfara state that is safe. We decided that we should also help to ensure that our people, those drawn from the Islamic schools, from Arabic schools, those drawn from our primary and secondary schools, those drawn from all non-governmental organizations, was able to organize this prayer section in order to seek for Allah's guidance, protections, and for Allah to shield this problem that is bedeviling the people of Zamfara state.
Chief Imam of Jumat mosques and Islamic scholars led the school children, pupils and other Muslim faithfuls in reciting the Holy Quran before observing the 2 rakat congregational prayers. Banditry is on the rise in Zamfara state in recent time, with many villages and towns sacked by armed bandits almost on a daily basis.
Gunmen have invaded Ora or Ayetoro community in Ekiti local government area of Kwara State and abducted some residents. Sources say that the incident happened on Monday when about 9 gunmen, 4 of them wearing masks, stormed the area wielding AK-47 rifles. The abductors were said to have also invaded the palace of the traditional ruler in the community, destroyed his residence and also burgled the shop of his wife, carting away some items and cash. Chairman of the local government area, Kayode Bayode, confirmed the incident to Daily Trust, and according to him, the local vigilantes have been empowered and are working with the police and other security agencies to rescue the victims. Now, armed robbers have invaded 2 banks in the Idoma-speaking town of Otukpo, forcing residents to flee in different directions. Witnesses said that the armed robbers stormed the banks at exactly 3:30 p.m. on Friday and carried out the operation unchallenged. A resident who preferred anonymity told our correspondent on telephone that gunshots have rented the air and people around the area scampered for safety. 2 vigilantes have reportedly lost their lives during the attacks, and Police Public Relations Officer SP Catherine Anene could not be reached for comment. Our Daily Trust reporter Hope Abba gives us an update on the situation.
At least 8 people have been reportedly killed on Friday after armed robbers invaded 4 banks in the Ekiti town of Benue State. 3 police officers, 1 vigilante, and a councillor of Ekiti who was transacting business in one of the affected banks was among those. A witness who declined to mention his name said the armed gang first attacked the Ekiti police station, located opposite the bank, and allegedly disarmed all the operatives on duty before moving on to the bank as they shot their guns indiscriminately. The witnesses also said that the 4 affected banks include Stanbic Bank, United Bank for Africa, Zenith Bank, and First Bank. Residents around the environment claimed that the robbers drove in 2 Hilux vehicles and a smaller car to carry out the robbery, which they say lasted over an hour. The residents explained that the armed robbers stormed the bank at exactly 3:30 p.m. on Friday and carried on the activity unchallenged until about 4:50 p.m. and everybody within the area had to scuttle to safety. They robbed the First Bank and the Zenith Bank simultaneously. Immediately they stormed the area at about 3:30 p.m. Another resident said the incident trapped him in his office for several hours after closing from work. Elijah said that the armed robbers went on destroying properties and casting away valuables in the bank unhindered. He said no one could either move either direction of Otukpo Main Road while the robbery lasted for fear of being caught in the gunfire. The police public relations officer, Catherine Anene, confirmed the incident, but that she was yet to get details at the time of sending this report. Anene says she was still unable to speak to the DPO or any of the officers at the time of this report, and therefore she pleaded for more time to be able to get the details of the incident.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, has commenced a post-development audit beginning with satellite towns in Abuja. Trust TV's Abdurrahman Umar reports that the audit will also mark the recommencement of the issuing of building plan approvals in Abuja satellite towns. The report.
Abuja, Nigeria's capital, was built to serve as the country's capital under the Abuja Master Plan. Certain buildings in the city are not meant to be, as they do not fit into the plan, and as such will distort the city's original plan. This, according to Town Planner Mukhtar Galadima, the Director Department of Development Control in the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, gave rise to the post-development audit of satellite towns in Abuja.
Starting from the satellite towns, how many structures do we have? What type of structures do we have? How are they connected to the city or services? So that we can have a database that we can say, yes, the capital city is made of this, and it has these facilities and services.
He says there might be room for review of the approvals issued to some structures within the recent.
Implementation of plans, normally there are rooms for review. So if the deviation is not something fundamental, it's something that can be condoned, we say, okay, you have done this, but not in our line, but it can be condoned. So we are going to charge you ABC for this deviation. But if something that we cannot condone, it has to be removed, we'll remove it.
For many across the country who associated the effort of FCTA in maintaining Abuja Master Plan with abuse of human rights, Mukhtar says that is to the contrary.
I think there are two independent variables. You have the city's master plan, which is also a law on itself and regulations. And then you have the issue of discipline. So you see, for us to get a city of our dream, a city that everybody desires, we need to have a disciplined society. So if you are not disciplined, which means the law is supposed to take its course on you.
Sylvester Nicholas is an Abuja resident who says Abuja is not like other states in the country, and as such, people must conform to the rules and regulations for residing in the city.
With due respect, I will urge people that have built should come so that if there's a way to redirect them how to build before anything collapsing, it will be better.
Mukhtar says to get the capital city of our dreams, Nigerians must be disciplined.
People talk about Kigali, people talk about Joburg. No, what makes them different? Look at Dubai. What is all about Dubai? It's because the people are disciplined. They follow laws, they follow regulations. So long as we're not going to follow laws and regulations, we can't get that city that we want.
The owners of properties in satellite towns in Abuja are expected to, within the next 21 days, submit the requisite information for necessary action. Abdurrahman Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In the meantime, the Abuja National Mosque Management Board has described as fake social media reports alleging that the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike, had approved a partial demolition of the monument, urging the Muslim faithful to disregard same, describing the report as the handiwork of conflict merchants bent on creating religious tension in the nation and casting the minister in bad light. The board said that its Wednesday's visit to the minister was fruitful as he received them warmly. The board, led by its chairman, the Etu Nupe, Alhaji Yahaya Abubakar, had visited the minister on Wednesday to seek clarification on the status of its plots 63 and 99 in the wake of the administration's drive to recover all ground rents debts. At the meeting, Wike extended the 3-month ultimatum to religious groups since they largely depend on free will donations from members. Now, Nigerians have continued to express divergent views on the life pension some former governors and their deputies are enjoying. Some residents of Kaduna call for the proscription of the pension of ex-governors who are holding public office and drawing salaries from the public treasury. Trust TV's Bello Musa reports.
The pension being enjoyed by former state governors has been a controversial issue for a long while. Recently, a civil society group, Socio-Economic Right and Accountability Project SERAP, challenged the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and other former governors to reveal the exact amount of their pension as former governors. Some Kaduna residents joined the conversation, saying that the former governors and their deputies are receiving the pension against the wishes of the poor, as the present economic reality in the country is taking toll on many Nigerians.
Due to the situation of the nation, which people are suffering, I think that ex-fund that been given to the former governors should stop.
We are suffering, we the masses are suffering in this country. Everybody knows. After they bought car for them, they give them house allowance, they give them this and that. And last, they will come again and carry pension.
It is of no use because we are in hardship. Instead, the money should be used to distribute food to the poor. Many people don't have food and they cannot pay for their children's school fees. A human activist, Aliyu Ali, said the life pension the former governors allocated to themselves and their deputies is a manifestation of primitive accumulation.
I think this is a very big case of misplacement of priority. Or let me even put it in this way, it is a case of abused priorities because Nigeria is a poor country, the people are living in recession. And we don't have the money to be spending millions of naira on people who are already rich.
A Kaduna-based legal practitioner, Aminu Abdurrashid, says the lingering controversy is a question of law and morality combined.
Anybody cannot just appropriate for himself an allowances and salaries or pension or in whatever name you can call it to himself. It is a law. They made laws for that based on opportunity they found themselves as governors. While in government, they use legislative process to appropriate for themselves a life pension after offices.
He says the law enacted by the state is against public interest.
So if you look at it, it has a place in law, but if you look at it morally speaking, it is against the public policy. It is against the public well-being, especially in a country that is struggling to survive, a developing country like underdeveloped country like Nigeria.
The government have to reduce its costs. We're in recession. How many people? And the thing here to notice is that these ex-governors are similar. They are at the same proportionate. They are the same people with the citizens of the country. Did you hear any former civil servant that is not in the government, a public servant? Every day they are crying about lack of pension being paid.
While some ex-governors are enjoying life after office, many other Nigerians are battling myriads of economic challenges occasioned by rising fuel price hike and foreign exchange crisis. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
An unidentified woman has been crushed to death by a container falling from a trailer at the Eze Iweka area near Upper Iweka bus stop along the Onitsha-Owerri Road. According to eyewitnesses, the incident occurred on Thursday when goods were being offloaded from the truck parked by the roadside. The container fell and crashed on the woman standing by the roadside. The acting sector public education officer of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Margaret Onabe, who confirmed the incident, said it happened at about 3 p.m. The FRSC rescue team from Upper Iweka Outpost, Anambra State, rushed to the accident scene along with the Awada police team, making efforts to get a crane to lift the 40-feet container where the road traffic crash victim was trapped. President Bola Tinubu has approved the waiver of the no work, no pay order that was instituted against striking members of the National Association of Resident Doctors on August 1 this year, following the commencement of their industrial action, which began on July 26. Presidential spokesman Ajuri Ngilali announced that the president invoked the principle of the presidential prerogative of mercy. The statement said this is to implement agreements arising from deliberations between the resident doctors and the federal government of Nigeria. The statement said that this will allow members of the association to receive their salaries, which were previously withheld during the 17-day strike action. Ngilali said that the president has directed relevant ministries to secure a document of understanding establishing that the exceptional waiver granted by the president will be the last one to be granted to the National Association of Resident Doctors and all other health sector unions. Similarly, the president approved the partial waiver to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, with the same conditions. Kano State Governor Abba Kabir, in company of Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, on Friday bid farewell to the first batch of 150 out of 1,001 students who departed Kano for India to pursue postgraduate studies. Addressing the beneficiaries, Governor Abba Kabir urged them to protect the interest of Kano State government and that of their parents by concentrating on the studies to justify the huge financial commitment made for the scheme. A statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary to the governor said that Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso tasked the departing students to be good ambassadors of Kano, Nigeria, and the Kwankwasiya movement. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we take a look at growing concern over rampant open defecation practice in Oyo State. Details and more after the break.
As a demonstration of its commitment to provide sustained access to basic healthcare for all Nigerians, the Federal Government of Nigeria, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, has established the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, BHCPF. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is designed to deploy operations fund directly to primary healthcare facilities in every political ward nationwide to ensure the availability of quality PHC services to all Nigerians, irrespective of where they live or work. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund guarantees 24 hours availability of midwives, other health workers, and health supplies in at least one PHC in every political ward. Ask from your local government health department for the BHCPF PHC in your ward to get more information and benefit from the services. Think access to healthcare for all. Think universal health coverage. Think Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Health and National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA. For further inquiries, call the NPHCDA toll-free number 7722 or visit www.nphcda.gov.ng.
You are 92. Are you still really kind of involved in your businesses, or have you given it all up?
I'm not active in business now. I am in business but not active. I am business in the sense I do what I really feel is good for me and is honest.
You are a very wealthy man. Everybody knows. How do you cope with the pressure on you to donate?
Anybody who gives for Allah's sake, Allah will give him at least 10 times or 70 times or uncounted, countless. Whoever you see me giving it, Allah has already destined that I have to give you. That is why I give it.
I remember 10 million naira to Kano Foundation many years ago, 30 years ago.
Yes.
That's a huge amount, even then.
Yes, that's a huge amount. Allah has bestowed that to me to give. He said, if that I give, He gave me much, much more than that.
Let's take you on a ride through a series of colors, events, concerts, and lots more. Are you planning an event? EventScope has you covered. Make Trust TV your #1 choice to cover your event. Call 080-3591-0553. EventScope, making your event classic. Follow us on all of our social media platforms at Trust TV News for latest updates on EventScope.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Here's a look at the top stories. Suleja traders blame crippling businesses on thugs and task force activities. 8 killed as gunmen attack Benue banks. In other news, Amnesty International has said that a total of 15 protesters arrested in 2020 are still being detained 3 years after the #EndSARS protest. A statement by the non-governmental organization marking the 3rd anniversary of the protest said that the majority of the protesters are in correctional centers in Lagos without trial. It notes that the Nigerian authorities have filed charges including theft, arson, possession of unlawful firearms, and murder against many of the protesters, alleging that some of those detained had been subjected to torture. The organization said in the past year alone, it had documented the unlawful killing of at least 6 people by law enforcement officers. Nigerian Navy ship Beecroft patrol team has intercepted 11 stowaways aboard Guangzhou Highway Panama ship en route Ghana, according to a statement by the base information officer of the Nigerian Navy ship Beecroft, H.A. Collins, on Thursday. The individuals were intercepted on Tuesday at about 7 p.m. during a routine patrol of Navy ship Beecroft patrol team. The statement said that 4 stowaways were initially apprehended from the stern of the vessel. However, an astonishing 7 more stowaways were uncovered within the ship, bringing the total to 11 stowaways who were promptly disembarked from the vessel and taken into custody. The official said that the stowaways have been handed over to the Nigerian Immigration Service in accordance with the established protocols. In a bid to develop Nigeria's educational sector towards meeting global best practices, the chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Tertiary Education, Abubakar Fulata, says that the nation must declare a state of emergency in education. Fulata has also called on the federal government to commit to at least 25 to 30% of the national budget to education. He stated this on the sidelines of a stakeholders meeting on the development of a roadmap for Nigerian education system. Habibat Ajayi reports.
The Ministry of Education set up a 7-man committee to look into the roadmap of the sector for 2024-2027. The committee was set up to look into various challenges faced at different levels in the sector. However, stakeholders lamented the ill treatment of teachers in the country and called for salary increments for primary, secondary and university teachers.
25 to 30% of the national budget to education. And then teachers must be not only be honored, they must also be encouraged. No primary school teacher in Nigeria should earn anything less than 250,000 naira per month.
The Minister of Education, Tahir Maman, lamented that the ministry has great policies on papers that do not meet the needs of the people.
Basic education is their terrain. Secondary school is essentially their terrain. Federal government has only 112 unity colleges. But because of problems at that sector, we are where we are today. But the federal government is partnering with them. All that we are asking for is for them to do their own part.
Anybody who has been in education for the last 2-3 decades will know that. During our days, we've been beneficiary of the education system, and we know it. We know how it was. we know where it is now. And if something very serious is not done, we have a pretty good idea of where we're heading.
The inability of youth to gain employment after going through the rigors of academics may be responsible for a gradual disinterest in the pursuit of education. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Chairman, National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, has charged men and officers of the agency to resist any temptation that could lead to compromising the job. The NDLEA boss gave the hint at the passing out parade of 2,500 narcotic agents and narcotic assistants trained in Katsina. Abdullahi Ahmadi tells us more.
At a colorful passing out parade, Marwa said the officers should not afford to compromise the work, as doing so will affect not only the war against the menace of drugs abuse, but the existence of the nation at large. The fight against drugs is taking a new dimension as the agency is deploying latest technologies and intelligence to fight drug cutters and barons in and outside Nigeria.
I therefore implore you to stand firm in the face of this temptation, to act with integrity, and to uphold the core value of NDLEA. Our duty is sacred. Our commitment is a beacon of hope for victims of drug abuse. Our loyalty to the cause, therefore, should be absolute and unalloyed.
While welcoming the new officers, the NDLEA boss said they are coming into the service at a time it is confronted with challenges, but with their resilience and commitment, the narrative can change, promising them that the work is gratifying and rewarding.
Corruption and bribery have no place in this mission. I must not only resist these temptations, but also actively expose and report any attempt of compromise.
Many Nigerians are looking up to the new officers who just passed out to impact positively in fighting the menace of drugs abuse, as they are to be deployed to all the states of the Federation to start operation.
This is to show you that
observers say the war against banditry and other criminalities depends largely on the successful war against drugs abuse and its trafficking in Nigeria. Abdullahi Ismail, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And there is rising concern over rampant open defecation practice in Oyo State, as National Bureau of Statistics said 54% of the population of the state engaged in the act. Recent reports indicate that Nigeria has overtaken India to become the #1 country in the world in terms of open defecation practice. Hamid Oyebwadi reports.
Experts expressed worry that the projection to end open defecation in Nigeria by 2025 might not be realistic, given the current pace in the effort to eliminate the practice. In the southwest, Oyo State is leading in open defecation practice, with 54% of its 8 million population engaging in the act. Ekiti State is the second in the region, with 41% of the population of the state engaging in open defecation, followed by Ondo, 39%, Osun, 18%, Ogun is 14%, while Lagos State is 3%. In Ibadan, capital of Oyo State, the people of Jago community in Onara local government area of the state said open defecation exposed them to illnesses and many security risks.
We go along with our cutlass. That means the person that knows deeply about the shit. You will dig the ground, shit there, and put the sand on it.
That they fell inside the well. So those are one of the hazards. Snake bites is one of it.
Meanwhile, with intensive sensitization against the negative consequences of open defecation, many households in Jago community have constructed and began to use toilets.
When we were going to the bush to defecate because we did not have toilets, we were always going to hospitals because of sicknesses. Now that we have toilets, we no longer perceive odor or feces. Even in the night, we can easily use the toilet. We go into the bush to defecate. We eventually realized that it was not good, and we have built our toilets that we are using now.
Among the 36 states in Nigeria, only Jigawa State has been certified open defecation free in the country. A water, sanitation and hygiene specialist with the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, Monday Johnson charged all state governors across the country to intensify efforts towards ending open defecation practice by 2025.
The aim of the federal government setting this date was for all the state governments to key into that date and start the program in all the states, aiming at achieving that goal. As you can see, as of today, we have only one state that have been able to meet up that target, which is Jigawa State.
Experts said if the implementation efforts to eliminate open defecation in Nigeria continues with the current pace, it might take up to 2046 to end open defecation in Nigeria. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News.
Residents of Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital, are lamenting price hike of bole, a local delicacy made with roasted plantain, fish and stew. Trust TV Friday, Ebimbowe Peter completes the story.
A bole customer, Elizabeth Sebastian, said with 500, she normally eats bole to her satisfaction, but now even with 2,000 naira, she cannot satisfy herself due to the hike in price. Elizabeth Sebastian attributed the hike of bole to rising cost of oil, plantain, and other commodities used in preparing bole. She then called on the state and federal government to provide tools and chemicals used in farming.
Bole, we normally buy bole, then at least 500 naira bole can satisfy you. But now, if you eat up to 2,000 naira bole, it's as if you have not even started. I think maybe it's because the price of things are high, that's why, because transportation is there to go and get the plantains, the fuel, and let me say, when we talk about these stuffs, we'll talk about the chemicals, the mache, the hoes they use in planting. I think federal government should look down into farming. It should help us. It should help the youth, at least the farmers. It should help them. If it could afford the hoes, the chemicals, the fertilizers, I think this price of things could at least reduce.
Also speaking, John Oyema said he has stopped eating bole because of the price hike.
Like person like me, I like bole, but for now, you cannot go buy bole again because of the price. The price is too cost. Nobody want to farm again. Nobody will pursue government money or your money. So the little people when they farm, people when they farm now, they do little. So because me and you, we want to go look for government money, we want to go look for your money, nobody want to push. Even the people when they village, they farm before, all of them, they contact ship and they don't get anything to do. So we can't make the bole cost. And second, people want to go buy them. Like in Bayelsa, you want to go Nembe, all those of Bayelsa, go buy them. To enter like boats or motor because of the fuel price itself. Fuel price itself can make even the bole worse past before.
Diana Areye, who is a bole seller, attributed the hike to cost of fish and plantain, saying that they sell just the way they buy.
At this period, the plantain price, it don't come down small. But why the bole still the cost? Because of the fish. Because before when they buy the fish, this ice is before when they buy them, 14,000 naira for a carton. Now from 14,000 naira, the fish don't increase to 36,000 naira now. Then when they talk about it, say dollar make the ice fish cost. So if the dollar price come down to normal way, the ice fish go come down, then the price of the plantain go dey match.
The hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal affect every sector of the economy, and Bole is not left out. Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News, Yenagoa.
Creative and brightest young minds from the northern parts of the country showcase their ingenuity and creativity at the first conference and exhibition on innovation capacity for northern youth. Arewa Consultative Forum organized the event in Kano to afford youth the opportunity to display cutting-edge innovations. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim has more.
On display are items achieved by the remarkable talent and the entrepreneurial spirit of young individuals from the northern part of the country. Arewa Consultative Forum, in collaboration with Dangote Business School and Media Trust Group, organized this conference and exhibition to showcase productive and innovative capacity of northern Nigeria youth.
The important matter of empowering our youth needs to make them more innovative and productive is a task for all of us. It does not lie on government alone. I am happy to note that ACF, through its dynamic and very well-managed Kano chapter, is taking a formidable lead in that direction.
In a series of engaging and interactive sessions, entrepreneurs, business leaders, and government officials shared insights on how to support and invest in these youth to foster economic development in the country.
The North, while it is the largest and most populous, it is also the one bearing the brand of the stick in terms of indices of development. We have to do something about it.
We cannot create the youth because they are already here. So what we need to do is how do we work with them and move them to the productive side of the pendulum? And that is, we need to build trust amongst ourselves. We need to redefine the northern ideology. This patch of land north of the River Niger and Benue has 120 million people of different ethnicities and religions on it. And so we need a united front.
The conference and exhibition not only provided a platform for youth to present their ideas and products, but also highlights their potential to drive economic growth and innovation.
We have the effort so that we can build a big factory in Kano State, because if you go there, even if you go to the farm center, you will see the kind of machine that are producing is different from our own. Our own can use light. Even if there's no light, you can use gas, because here in Nigeria we don't have much light.
So we exhibited a brand box for a three-wheeled vehicle, properly known as Adedita Sahu. It has 4 functions. Adedita Sahu doesn't have an engine oil monitoring system. It doesn't have a gear monitoring system, engine valve and monitoring system, and some of them doesn't have a charging point. So we implemented that.
Clearly, these young inventors are a testament to the northern region's capacity to be a hub of innovation and productivity. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News.
Now, the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure and 3 Chinese partners have signed memoranda of understanding for new projects valued at $2 billion. This is just as the Federal Ministry of Works also signed an MOU with China Harbour Engineering Company Limited for the construction of Lekki Blue Seaport contract at the Lekki Free Trade Zone in Lagos. The signings came on the sidelines of the 3rd Belt and Road Initiative Forum in China.
The purpose of science and engineering and technology, after all, is to improve the quality of our lives. And to do this, we must ensure that it gets into the hands of as many people as possible. Innovation is not meant for the shelves or archives. It should translate into usable products. This is our belief and one of our driving principles at Nasini. For that reason, you can rest assured that the MOUs we are signing today will not remain MOUs for long. We will work very hard to transform them into commercially viable products that will drive the industrialization and development of Nigeria and its prosperity.
We have secured funding for some of our major railway projects in the country, the Lagos, Ibadan-Kano route, and also the Kano-Kaduna railway line. And most importantly, we have succeeded in upgrading our relationship to a comprehensive partnership agreement, which will certainly open a vista of opportunities for mutually beneficial relationships between our two nations. And just now we witnessed the signing ceremony for the MOU between the Federal Ministry of Works and Harbour Engineering for the 7th Axial Road that will also open up access at the Lekki Deep Sea Port.
Time now to take a quick break. The news hour continues shortly. Join us again.
There's a problem in Nigeria. Rising unemployment is leading to crime, death, and homelessness.
I graduated since 2020. There's no work. There's nothing.
With no jobs, no money, and no food, many young people are frustrated.
There are many young youths out there looking for what to do. When you come to Nigeria, you will see old people doing the work that young people should do.
My own local government itself, we don't have anybody in this community that is working there.
Lost and forgotten in slums, the echoes of their worries haunt the seat of power. Where is their government?
This village is like we are inside the city, and our boys are running up and down, no work.
What is the truth behind Nigeria's unemployment statistic? Beyond the affluence of Abuja's wealthy 1% lies the grief of the 99% struggling to earn a living.
Hello and welcome to Creative Lounge on Trust TV. My name is Ahmed Mohamed Bello and I'm going to be taking you through my journey as an artist.
Welcome back. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. It's now time to take a look at business updates put together by Chiamaka Nwafo.
The African Export-Import Bank and Export-Import Bank of China have agreed a $600 million deal to facilitate trade and economic cooperation between members of the Afreximbank and China. The president of Afreximbank, Professor Benedict Orama, and Vice President of Afreximbank, Dr. George Elumbi, together with Seximbank's Vice President Wenkai Zhang, signed the deal at Sexim's headquarters in Beijing, China. The loan's primary objective is to enable and fund trade and economic operation between the member states of Afreximbank and the People's Republic of China, PRC. Additionally, it will play a role in advancing financial collaboration between Africa and the PRC. The European Union (EU) has announced its commitment to allocate €150 billion by 2027 as part of its Global Getaway Initiative. This initiative aims to bolster infrastructure across more than 8 sectors in Nigeria and various other African nations. The EU Commissioner for International Partnerships, Jutta Urpilainen, made this known during the launch of the Global Gateway Initiative on Thursday in Abuja. According to JUTA, the Global Gateway Initiative revolves around augmenting connectivity, advancing sustainable development, and fortifying economic linkages between the EU and its partner nations, Nigeria included. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Shaka Chira as the substantive Auditor General of the Federation, as recommended by the Federal Civil Service Commission. Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to the President, Ajuri Ngelale, in a statement said the President approved Chira's appointment after the Federal Civil Service Commission conducted a screening exercise that identified him as the most qualified candidate who had also scored the highest in the examination amongst all qualified candidates for the office. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka.
Now, on a sad note, the death of Nigerian ambassador to Morocco, Mansour Nuhu Bamali, has been announced. The deceased held the title of Magajin Garin Zazzau and is a younger brother to the Emir of Zazzau, Ahmed Nuhu Bamali. A statement by the Media and Publicity Officer of the Zazzau Emirate Council said that Mansour Nuhu Bamali died at a private hospital in Lagos while on transit to Morocco. He is survived by a wife and 2 children. On the foreign scene, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres visited the Egyptian site of the Rafah border crossing with Gaza on Friday to oversee preparations for the delivery of desperately needed international aid to the war-torn enclave. Guterres' visit came after Israel said it will evacuate more than 20,000 residents from Kiryat Shmona, one of the biggest towns on its northern border with Lebanon, following a heavy cross-border exchange of fire in the area the day before. Cargo planes and trucks have been bringing food, medicine and other aid to the Rafah crossing with Egypt, but to date, no aid deliveries have started. Guterres has called for conditions to be met in order for deliveries to begin entering Gaza. The UN and humanitarian organizations say that food, drinking water and medical supplies are desperately needed in Gaza. Now time to take a look at sports update with Emmanuel Fashemi.
The Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Waneno, in a brave step to stop doping in sports, has avowed his firm assurance to speed up the submission of the National Anti-Doping Commission Establishment Bill to the Federal Executive Council and the National Assembly for ratification in the coming work weeks. He made a statement recently in a meeting with his media team in Abuja, where he emphasized the principal need of regulation to the National Anti-Doping Committee, identifying it as a crucial step towards overcoming the challenges it faces in achieving its objectives. At the start of his administration, Senator Eno held meetings with the Anti-Doping Committee where they discussed various ways to strengthen their activities while ensuring the committee was fit for purpose. Still on sports, Argentina Alejandro Papu Gomez has been slammed a 2-year ban for failing a drug test after a report shows he apparently took his children's sickness syrup in the build-up to the tournament. Gomez was part of the squad that won the Mundial last December in an ensuing dramatic penalty shooter triumph over Les Bleus of France in the final. The Daily Mail information emerged that Gomez failed a test for a prohibited substance shortly before the World Cup got underway in November 2022. He blamed it on taking his children's sick syrup without consulting with Sevella's doctor after having a bad night's sleep. However, this reason was not considered suitable for him to avoid a ban. He must now decide whether he wishes to appeal the verdict in an attempt to get his ban reduced or overturned. Gomez had joined Serie A outfit Monza as a free agent in October after his contract with Sevilla was terminated. He spent 2.5 years at the club and won the Europa League last season. And that is sports. I am Emmanuel Fashemi.
And that's a wrap on the news hour for tonight. In case you've missed, you can always catch up across all social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.